Patience over the tortuous challenge of petrol scarcity, assuring that efforts were on to. The minister reckoned that Nigerians in recent weeks have grappled with fuel scarcity, not because of the absence of supply of product, but due to inspection failure and regulatory negligence which allowed adulterated products into the country. He added that while the development was regrettable, it is a time that calls for collective action to save a situation that was not foreseen. Meanwhile, fuel queues have substantially thinned out in various parts of the Federal Capital Territory on Sunday. The development seems to be a confirmation of government's assurances that fuel queues would gradually disappear from this weekend when 3.2 billion liters of safe petrol imported is injected into the domestic market. A lot of filling stations that were hitherto out of stock for weeks were seen selling petrol to motorists. However, it was observed that consumers preferred patronizing outlets of major oil marketers for fear of not buying remnant of contaminated petrol. Operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, the NDLEA, have intercepted fake $4.7 million cash from Abuja. In a statement issued on Sunday, the NDLEA spokesman, Femi Babafemi, said operatives of the agency had in the early hours of Friday, that's February 18th, stopped a consignment sent from Lagos to Abuja at the Abaji area of the Federal Capital Territory. According to Babafemi, controlled delivery of the parceled counterfeit notes totaling $4.7 million led to the arrest of a principal suspect, a 52-year-old Abdulmumuni Meikesua. The seizure followed intelligence received by the FCT command of the agency detailing the movement of the cash and the vehicle conveying it, after which the NDLEA chairman, Chief Executive, retired Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Marwa, directed that both the cash and the suspect in custody be transferred to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the EFCC, for further investigation. The governor of Osun State, Gboyega Oyetola, has been declared winner of the All Progressive Congress, the APC, primary election. Returning officers for all the 30 local governments and the area council announced the result. Chairman of the primary election committee and the governor of Kwara State, Abdulrahman Abdulrazak, announced the result in the early hours of today at the party secretariat in Osogbo. Oyetola polled 22,216, defeating his closest rival, the former secretary to the Osun State government, Moshood Adeoti. The state chairman of APC, Gboyega Famodu, commended the committee for the successful conduct of the exercise.
I, Abdulrahman Abdulrazak, Chairman, Primary Election Committee, hereby certify that Gboyega Isiaka Adetola, having secured the highest number of votes cast in the Osun governorship primary elections held on the 19th of February 2022 and met all the requirements as contained in the guidelines for the election is hereby declared winner.
We in Osun, across the board of leadership cadre, the Igimagba, the state ESCO, the cabinet, the structures of the party from the ward to the state were elated. Everybody in this country has been focusing their attention on Osun, whether this exercise will be successful or not. But you have done so well, you have made us proud, and you have relieved us of serious doubt in our mind.
No fewer than 26 civil society organizations are set to storm the streets in a protest against the delay in the signing of the reworked electoral bill by President Muhammadu Buhari. The civil groups are giving the president 2 days, starting from Sunday, to sign or face its wrath. The coalition has urged its partners to converge on the Unity Fountain in Abuja for the demonstration. The coalition include Nigeria Civil Society Situation Room, PlusTvAfrica, Partners for Electoral Reform, International Press Center, Institute for Media and Society, Nigerian Women Trust Fund, Labour Civil Society Coalition, Transition Monitoring Group, Clean Foundation, Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, among others.
Honorable Abubakar Yalaman from Jigawa State moved a motion at plenary on Thursday. He suggested that INEC conduct fresh physical registration across the country. While debating the motion, he said many constituencies have been displaced due to non-availability of registration centers and officials. Insufficient operational tools and equipment, among others, are also a drawback for successful conduct of elections. Honorable Yaliman said if the voter registration exercise is concluded without addressing these challenges, many citizens will be disenfranchised in the forthcoming election.
The concern that my constituency, my federal constituency, and many other federal constituencies have been placed at disadvantaged position due to the non-availability of registered voters, centers, and officials, inadequate power supply, insufficient official tools and equipment, as well as inadequate enlightenment program. The effect of this are no figure recorded within the constituencies.
They called on INEC to consider the current realities on the ground in most constituencies by deploying both physical and virtual processes in the proposed voter registration.
That we adopt this motion as our own motion because, like I said, it has spoken directly to the concerns we have about registration. It is a motion also that seeks to address some of the deficiencies and major concerns of our electoral procedures and our voting system.
Not up to 10%, Mr. Speaker, have access to what INEC are using now to do the continuous voters registration. Mr. Speaker, until and unless the physical enumerators like it is done in the past, INEC are advised or compelled, in other words, to ensure that they employ ad hoc staff to go the four angles of Nigeria and ensure that they have captured citizens of this country who are eligible, who is not a privilege for them to participate in the forthcoming election.
If you look at the statistics of last year and the statistics of this year, you'll find that it's almost more than 10 times more people were registered manually by this time last year. So online registration hasn't helped us. So we need to not only ensure that we mix both physical, manual, and online at the same time, which means INEC going physically to all the voting centers and make sure that there's time enough.
The motion was passed when put to vote by the Speaker. He mandated the House Committee on Electoral Matters to ensure compliance and report for further legislative action.
President Muhammadu Buhari has been advised to keep to his promises by facilitating the release of Leah Sharibu from Boko Haram captivity before the expiration of his administration. The traumatized parents made a demand at a press conference in Yola. Meanwhile, one of the victims of the Boko Haram kidnappings, who recently regained freedom, shared her encounter with Leah and others. She confirmed that she had 2 babies for the outlawed husband, calling on government to remember those still in the clutches of the outlaws. Leah Sharibu was one of the 110 female students of the Government Girls Science and Technical College, Dapchi, Yobe State, who were abducted on February 19, 2018 by Boko Haram terrorists. While others were released by the terrorists following negotiations, Leah, then 14 years old, continued to be held captive because she refused to renounce her Christian faith.
I'm pleading with the President of Nigeria, Mr. Muhammadu Buhari, to fulfill his promise, because he has made several promises. He promised the family, he promised Nigerians, and even promised the whole world that his administration will do his possible best to see that my daughter return home safely. And up to now, today is good 4 years without hearing anything from him again. And much more, his tenure is about to finish. So I'm pleading to him to fulfill his promise before the end of his tenure. And I'm calling for the Nigerians and the members of the press to please put pressure on the federal government concerning the release of my daughter.
We are counting few months for him to step down or to end his tenure. So the legacy we are pleading with President Buhari that will help the family of Leah Sharibu and the entire Nigerian people to remember him is that he has fulfilled that promises that he has made 4 years down the lane and set Leah free. A lot of girls are still in captivity.
It's no longer a story that Leah is still alive and has 2 children, as we've been hearing the news. So Leah is very much alive, and the likes of her, so many other young girls who are out there living helpless lives, living in fears, living in hopelessness, are still there, hoping that a day will come that the government would remember them.
You're watching news now on Plus TV Africa. We'll be back after this break.
This is it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Booking November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
Life can be fun and rewarding, but it also comes with some risk. As in business, you win some, you lose some. And that's why you need to be wise in the choices you make. It's like placing a bet. Again, you need to be wise. Wise in choosing an innovative platform with the highest market options and highest odds ever. That's why Winners Golden Bet, the leader in online, in-shop, virtual, and live sports betting, gives you enhanced platforms that offer you the best chances of winning. For betting on live soccer matches, live dog races, and virtual games. Winners Golden Bet is your best bet. Instant payment of winnings guaranteed. Play online or in any of our numerous shops nearest to you.
Hey guys, be wise. Play on Winners Golden Bet.
Winners Golden Bet, the wise choice.
Nigeria's Niger Delta region, from where the black gold fuels Africa's largest economy, where the lines between wealth and poverty has never been thinner. Conflicts, poverty, insecurity, and environmental challenges daily confront the region. How can the Niger Delta story be changed for the better?
Join Mamude Akuga at 9 p.m. every Friday evening on Plus TV Africa as he probes deep in search of solutions.
Inside the Niger Delta with Mamude Akuga, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region.
When you actually buy your land and you want to build, it's more expensive than when you buy into a property that is being developed for affordable housing. You buy the house plot for 4 million, you will clear the land, you will pay the money fees, the community fees, you would start possibly fill the land, and then from there again you start producing. Now, because there's no large economy of scale, you will actually buy your block around 300. Here, come on here, it's going to affect your design. The more edges you have, the more costly it becomes for you. So a rectangular land is actually the best buy.
Space and Style, 6:30 p.m. on Saturdays and 5:30 p.m. on Wednesdays.
Praise God from whom all blessings flow. Welcome to your favorite program, The Moment of Truth, brought to you by the Citadel Global Community Church. Our God is a God of salvation, far above all principality and power, and might and dominion, that regardless of what happens in this season, you will escape. Say to your neighbor, there is no peace for the wicked. The lazy man does not roast what he took in hunting, but diligence is a man's precious possession. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might.
Moment of Truth with Pastor Tunde Bakare, Sundays, 7 p.m. on Plus TV Africa.
How can we have peace without justice?
Plus Politics. It's not just another political conversation, it's about keeping you in the know. The relevant interviews, asking the tough questions to those that matter.
Welcome back to News Now on Plus TV Africa. Nigeria's Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, says there is hope for positive reforms in the justice system as more result-oriented changes are currently ongoing in the country. Professor Osinbajo says that reform efforts being jointly undertaken by the National Judicial Council, that's the NJC, the Nigerian Bar Association, civil society organizations, and the federal government will give hope of some real changes in the system. He identified the failings of the administration of the justice system as consequences of philosophical, structural, and institutional deficiencies. The Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, has come hard on the federal government over the mass departure of Nigerian lecturers to other tertiary institutions abroad. The union frowned at how the development has been affecting the university system, attributing the exodus of Nigerian lecturers to poor remuneration. ASU is currently on a month warning strike, alleging the failure of the government to respect the memorandum of action it signed with the ASU in December 2020, which it included financing the university system. Commuters in Lagos State have lamented the poor services rendered on the bus rapid transit, that's the BRT. They said the state of the buses, which is not looked into, may affect the mega city status of the state. Our correspondent Jacinta Obiuku brought back this report. We do apologize, we will not be able to give you that report at the moment. The Nigerian Conservation Foundation, the NCF, has urged Nigerians to take urgent actions in conserving the remaining species of pangolin, even as the world commemorates World Pangolin Day. In a statement, the NCF says, though an amazing animal, all the 8 species of pangolin are under threat, that they could go extinct if drastic steps are not taken. World Pangolin Day is created to raise public awareness on the endangered status of pangolins who are threatened by poaching and deforestation of their natural habitats. An estimated 1 million pangolins have been taken from the wild illegally globally. The Oba of Benin, Oba Ewere II, has appreciated the federal government for its commitment to the return of 2 artifacts, the cockerel and the Oba head, which were carted away over 100 years ago. Oba Ewere expressed his appreciation during a ceremony organized at the palace in Benin City, the state capital. On their part, the representative of the President and the Director General of the National Commission for Museums and Monuments noted that the Benin Kingdom possesses a high level of cultural and historical values, as well as the heritage of its people. There are concerns that the dominance of foreign languages like English language in homes is worrisome and a threat to mother tongue. We went to town to get to public reactions. Well, that's on Street Views. We're taking another break. Do stay with us.
we do not understand, we will stigmatize.
What you can see is the remaining of the tanker that exploded.
The suspect equally confessed.
A 500 naira they collect them. If you no talk, then go beat you. Now 2,500 and they pay.
Still ahead, Somali leaders reject illegal oil deal with U.S. company. Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed inaugurated electricity production from the country's mega dam on the Blue Nile on Sunday, a milestone in the controversial multi-billion-dollar project. Abiy, accompanied by high-ranking officials, toured the power generation station and pressed a series of buttons on an electronic screen, a move that officials said initiated production. The Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam is said to be the largest hydroelectric scheme in Africa, but has been at the center of original dispute ever since work first began in 2011. Ethiopia's downstream neighbors, Egypt and Sudan, view it as a threat because of their dependence on Nile waters, while Addis Ababa deems it essential for its electrification and development. Somalia's president and premier have declared null and void a deal signed by their energy minister with a U.S. company to explore for oil and gas off the coast of the troubled Horn of Africa nation. Minister of Petroleum and Mineral Resources Abdurrashid Mohammed Ahmed and Coastline Exploration Limited had announced on Saturday 7 production sharing agreements covering deep water offshore blocks. Ahmed hailed it as a huge moment for Somalia, one of the poorest countries in the world, which is in the grip of a political crisis over long-delayed elections and also battling a jihadist insurgency. The PSAS will have an immediate positive effect on the country, he said, and are expected to generate tens of millions of dollars for federal and state coffers. But both Somalia's president and prime minister, who are often at loggerheads, swiftly denounced the deal late Saturday. The president of Benin, Patrice Talon, has inaugurated an exhibition on Saturday showcasing 26 royal treasures returned by France last November. The items on display to the general public from Sunday were returned nearly 130 years after they were stolen by colonial forces. The exhibition is being held on the grounds of the presidential palace in the capital, Cotonou. The items were taken from Abomey, capital of the former Dahomey Kingdom, located in the south of present-day Benin. French lawmakers have passed a bill allowing Paris to return artifacts to both Benin and Senegal, another former French colony. Boris Johnson has repeatedly refused to say whether he will resign if police found he broke his own COVID laws. The Prime Minister was pressed over the issue multiple times while appearing on the BBC's Sunday morning show. He insisted there is a process underway and he could not answer. The Prime Minister handed a legal questionnaire to the police on Friday regarding claims that lockdown-busting parties were held in Downing Street. The content of his questionnaire response has not been made public. Metropolitan Police are investigating 12 events allegedly attended by government figures during lockdowns, including as many as 6 that the Prime Minister is reported to have attended.
Can I just undertake to make sure as soon as I have something meaningful to say about this, which will be at the end of the process, I will make sure I do it to you, to the BBC, and I'll have a lot more to say about this in due course. I understand the question you're raising, but any answer would be interpreted as a point of commentary about the process. I've got to leave it. You must forgive me. I can't comment about a process that's currently underway.
Britain's Queen Elizabeth has tested positive for COVID and is experiencing mild symptoms. According to Buckingham Palace, the 95-year-old monarch is expected to continue light duties this week. Earlier this month, Prince Charles, the heir to the throne, pulled out of an event after contracting coronavirus for a second time. The palace source said he had met the Queen just days before. The health of the Queen, the world's oldest and longest reigning monarch, has been in the spotlight since she spent a night in hospital last October for an unspecified ailment and then was advised by her doctor to rest. Meanwhile, the Queen has congratulated Britain's curling teams for their performance at the Beijing Games. She said this in a statement posted on the royal family's website. Britain won gold over Japan in the women's curling final, securing the nation's only gold medal at the Beijing Games. The men's second-placed finish gave the nation its first medal at the Beijing Olympics. Firefighters have battled a wildfire in Corrientes, Argentina, seeking to suffocate the flames sweeping through pasture in this rural area of the country. According to local officials in Corrientes, more than 600,000 hectares have been burnt through by wildfires in recent weeks, fueled by drought conditions in the country. Many of Argentina's yerba mate plantations are located in Corrientes, dealing the region an economic blow expected to cost millions. Kyiv residents have reflected on their country's lack of nuclear weapons after President Volodymyr Zelensky called for a meeting between the Budapest Memorandum signatory countries, that's the US, UK, Russia, and Ukraine. The Budapest Memorandum on Security Assurances was signed in 1994 to assure then newly independent former Soviet republics, Belarus, Kazakhstan, and Ukraine security in return for handing over their nuclear arsenals to Russia. Most Kyivans agreed that having a nuclear arsenal will give the country more leverage in the ongoing conflict. U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris says the United States will re-evaluate its promised aid for Ukraine in the coming days. Speaking to reporters after attending a security conference in Munich on Sunday, the United States had already made $1 billion in loan guarantees available and provided $650 million in defense equipment and services to Ukraine in the past year. There could be a knock-on impact to energy prices paid by American consumers from ongoing tensions between Russia and Ukraine. U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris said, adding that the U.S. government is working to mitigate the effects. Harris said the United States is taking specific and appropriate steps to prepare for any potential costs. Harris also repeated President Joe Biden's assertion that Russian President Vladimir Putin had already taken the decision to attack Ukraine. Russia denies that it plans to invade. Up next, Nigerian students travel to UK for studies surged by 64% in 1 year. Well, that's in business news after this break.
And thanks for joining us on the business news. The Maize Growers, Farmers and Manufacturers Association has commended the federal government for initiating the Anchor Borrowers Program, ABP, and appealed for its sustainability. The Bauchi chairman of the association made the appeal in an interview on Sunday in Bauchi. He commended the ABP initiative implemented through the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, which had helped smallholder maize farmers to attain quality and high production. He urged the government to sustain the ABP project and value chain strategy to improve maize production, saying that over 5,000 maize farmers benefited from the ABP in 2020 and had produced enough to meet the demand for maize. Within the period of 1 year, the number of Nigerian students studying in the United Kingdom universities increased year-on-year by 63.5% to 21,305 in the 2020-2021 academic calendar. That's according to an official data from the Higher Education Statistics Agency. An analyst of the United Kingdom-based agency enrollment data shows that from the top 10 lists, Pakistan recorded the largest percentage increase with 65.7%, followed by Nigeria with 63.5%, India with 52.4%, Saudi Arabia with 3.6%, Hong Kong with 1.7%, and China with 1.4%. While countries like Malaysia and the United States of America, Singapore, Canada recorded a decline of 14.8%, 7.2%, 3.5%, and 0.2% respectively, countries with the most students studying in the United Kingdom. The growing Nigerian interest in studying in developed economy can be attributed to the ease of immigration channels. Additionally, the increase also moved Nigeria's ranking by 3 places to the 3rd position, making it the only African country on the list. Similarly, in terms of visa issued to the United Kingdom, Nigeria recorded a rise of 234.7% to 18,580 in the first 9 months of 2021, from 5,551 in the same period of 2019. Oil prices could be difficult to predict this week, with investors set to weigh up potential supply disruptions from Russian-Ukraine crisis against prospect of booming Iranian export if the United States reviews the 2015 nuclear agreement. Both major benchmarks reported contrasting results at close of play on Friday, with the Brent crude futures settling 0.6% at $93.54 per barrel, while the WTI crude was down with 0.5% to $91.07. Over the course of the week, Brent crude posted a 0.9% rise for its 9th weekly gain, while the WTI fell 1.7%, snapping an 8-week rally. Prices reached 8 years high on February 14th, with analysts speculating that $100 milestone could be reached for the first time since 2014. However, growing prospect of easing oil sanction against Iran has weighed on the market since then. Nevertheless, tension in Ukraine are seemingly close to boiling point, with U.S. President Joe Biden warning that Russia has decided to invade Ukraine, while Prime Minister Boris Johnson has revealed the omens are grim. And that's it on the business news. Many thanks for watching. I am Mercy Bopo.
Well, thank you, Mercy. And up next is entertainment news.
Popular Nigerian singer Davido has continued to move on good terms with his ex-fiancée and baby mama Chioma Rowland. Chioma, who is also known as Chef Chi, has been known for her love for cooking and good culinary skills. Just recently, the mother of one took to social media to delight fans with a video of her oxtail recipe. Chioma shared a clip online showing the process of how she made a yummy dish, and it soon caught Davido's attention. The music star reacted to Chioma's cooking skills on his Instagram story. Davido revealed how impressed he was by reacting with a mind-blown emoji. Much-loved Nollywood actress Mercy Johnson and her husband Prince Odianosan Okoje have continued to give fans couple goals. On Valentine's Day, Mercy's husband surprised her with lovely gifts, including a big red box filled with money. Taken to her social media page, the actress posted a video of herself appreciating her man as she counted the money. Mercy was seen unwrapping the taped 1,000 naira note as she wondered about how much money was in the box. The actress then recounted how one of her daughters, Angel, had woken up that morning and asked her father if Mercy was his Valentine. Mercy added that she said yes, she was his Valentine for life. The Nigerian billionaire businessman E-Money has continued to publicize his upcoming 40th birthday party on social media and promises to shut things down. Taken to his official Instagram page, the socialite took fans down memory lane with throwback photos from 2005. E-Money showed his numerous fans that he has been living life for a very long time after sharing photos of his fancy cars at a time which included a Lamborghini and a Hummer Jeep. And finally, American rapper Kanye West has objected to his estranged wife Kim Kardashian's divorce demands. According to court documents obtained by E! News, the billionaire rapper has filed an opposition to his estranged wife, blah, 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 blah. According to court documents obtained by E! News, the billionaire rapper has filed an opposition to his estranged wife's request for bifurcation, in which she asks the court to declare her legally single as she continues to work on a divorce settlement. In the documents, a lawyer for Ye states that Kim's motion should be denied without prejudice so that Kim can refile it with the mandatory corrections and requested conditions set forth in the proposed judgment. It would recall that Kim filed to be legally single a few months ago. Kim filed for divorce in February 2021 after months of cracks in their marriage.
Sports news now. Beijing has dusted its Olympic flame, closing the Winter Games that will be remembered for the extremes of its anti-COVID-19 measures and outrage over the doping scandal that enveloped 15-year-old Russian skating sensation Kamila Valieva. Chinese President Xi Jinping was on hand for the snowflake-themed ceremony on Sunday night at the Bird's Nest Stadium, where International Olympic Committee IOC President Thomas Bach described the Beijing Games as truly exceptional before declaring them closed. The IOC president and the mayor of Beijing handed over the Olympic plaque to the mayors of Milan and Cortina d'Ampezzo in Italy, which will host the 2026 Winter Games. Let's now join our sports desk for more.
Nigeria's first female gold medalist at the 1996 Atlanta Olympics, Chioma Ajunwa-Okpara, has called on athletes to stop cutting corners, but rather face the reality of intense competition for world titles. Ajunwa-Okpara gave the advice in an interview in Lagos. She was speaking on the heels of the recent 10-year ban of Nigeria's queen of the track, Blessing Okagbare, by the World Athletics. The Athletics Integrity Unit handed a 10-year ban for doping violations by Nigeria's 2008 long jump silver medalist Blessing Okagbare. She was initially expelled from the women's 100-meter semi-finals after testing positive for human growth hormone at an out-of-competition test in Slovakia on July the 19th at the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. Former Al Ahly forward and Nigerian international Junior Ajayi has signed for Libyan Premier League side Al Nassr on a free transfer. After 5 years, Ajayi's journey with Al Ahly ended after the club decided to terminate his contract at the end of last year. Now, nearly 2 months after leaving Egypt, Libyan side Al Nassr announced the signing of Ajayi on their social media accounts without revealing any details about the agreement. He kept his form for the majority of his stay in Cairo, making a total of 161 appearances and lifting 11 trophies along the way. These titles include 4 Egyptian Premier Leagues, 2 Egyptian Super Cups, 2 CAF Champions Leagues and the CAF Super Cup. Samuel Eto'o has become embroiled in a diplomatic row with Cameroon Sports Minister over the future of head coach Antonio Conseco, as the fallout from the country's third-place finish African Cup of Nations continues. Eto'o told Narcisse Mawele Kombe any decision concerning a managerial change ultimately rested with Cameroon's Football Association, of which he is the president. Earlier this week, Kombe had told Cameroonian broadcaster CRTV that Conseco would be in charge of the upcoming international fixtures next month. Eto'o, however, swiftly reminded Cameroon sports minister that deciding the future of the national team's manager was not part of his remit.
And the main news again. Operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency have intercepted fake $4.7 million cash from Abuja. Ethiopia has started electricity production at Nile Mega Dam. And Beijing Winter Olympics has finally closed with a stunning ceremony. And that's the news now. For more stories, please follow us at PlusTvAfrica on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And do subscribe to our YouTube channel at PlusTvAfrica and PlusTvAfrica Lifestyle. I am Maureen Menong-Wezigwe. Thanks for watching.
For upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
welcome to Plus Trending. I am Bookie November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
How can we have peace without justice?
Plus politics. It's not just another political conversation, it's about keeping you in the know. The relevant interviews, asking the tough questions to those that matter. Get the answers you need. Does it mean